Ready.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's Furman Football Monday with head coach Clay Hendricks. Paladins coming off of the loss to Wofford, close out the home portion of the schedule. 2 conference games remaining, both on the road this weekend at ETSU and the following week at Mercer. We'll set you up for the broadcast of the ETSU game coming up at the end. As always, we'll ask the coach to open with a statement, and then Tom Van Hoy will ask question number 1.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Just was really proud of how our team started the game Saturday. Probably one of our better starts offensively. Great first drive, great stop on D, get the ball back, drive going, and we turn the ball over. Which was, certainly, one turnover shouldn't beat you, but certainly was a huge momentum breaker. And then they end up getting a drive down, tied up, and again, had all kinds of opportunities to get it done. I think when you look at it, offensively, it was by some short yardage opportunities we missed, some red zone opportunities that we didn't get points or touchdowns on. I thought played really solid defensively most of the day. I think they were 4-12 on third down. We were 50% on third down. 2 of those were killers. One of them we didn't contain the quarterback, and the other one we were off the field and had 3 chances to get off, and then we get a roughing the passer, and they scored a touchdown on that drive. I think maybe 5 explosive plays we allowed, and 2 of them I know led to touchdowns. At least 2 of them did. So, just continuing to work. We went out there yesterday in the rain and had a good day. Our kids' attitude has been phenomenal, really has been. We just got to continue to try to fix just things where we hurt ourselves, and then we got to do what we're supposed to do, wherever that is. Certainly, we can do some things better as coaches and put them in a better position, make some better calls. But no, we like I said, had a good start to our week yesterday, and got to go play against a really good East Tennessee team. It's like you're playing a different team from a year ago. The schemes are different because the staff's different, but it's totally different players, or not totally, but largely a different with the number of transfers they brought in. They had a big win Saturday against Western. Took advantage of some short fields, and they had a number of turnovers themselves. So it'll be a huge challenge for us.
Coach, it hadn't happened very often that you've had a season like this as head coach or even your career. Is it tough to try to keep an even keel?
Well, I think you're always disappointed when you don't win if you're a competitor, and I told our team yesterday, I literally went through our schedule, and I thought there were about 4 really good opportunities on our schedule to have won games. And then one game we didn't get to play, but we didn't. And it was a little bit why. And I think a couple of the others, there was also a reason why those games weren't nearly as competitive. And it was turnovers, and it was allowing big plays, And so, I see some things we're getting better at. It's been an interesting year just because of some of the things we've dealt with. I've been on some teams that didn't have very good years before. I've been doing this 39 years. I remember I've used it. It's just striking. The one year at Air Force, we didn't go to a bowl game in 10 years. We were 2-10. Next year, we were 10-3. And we lost a couple of quarterbacks, bam, 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 to start the year. We struggled defensively all that year. And it's funny, I see some similarities from a standpoint. I'm excited about the group we have returning. I think in the world that it is now, college football, we just harped on sticking together, staying the course. I think that's how we won as many games as we did the last few years. We had a bunch of kids that were committed to coming back, being in our place, being a part of who we were. And, we look at who we had. We were a really old team. It's because kids were committed to being here and committed to what Furman brings them and does for them. And that's kind of, we've talked a lot about, we're building for the 25 conference championship. And we certainly want to finish strong for these seniors that we have. We don't have a lot of them. But, it's frustrating. I think the frustrating part is just, the number of times we've hurt ourselves. Some of these teams we play are good enough without us doing it. And you watch that game, we had all kinds of opportunities Saturday to to do things we need to do, as we haven't. We had a week ago, you know. You've heard the margin error. We've used that term a lot. And really for me, that is, you know, when we get an opportunity to hit, you know, Jackson Pryor on a wheel route early in the game for a huge gain and we miss it, do we really get that play back? You know, are we good enough right now where we are? We think we're going to have 4 or 5 of those chances during the game. And, you know, we've missed the throw for a touchdown to probably win the game at VMI. Are you going to get that back again? We had that one opportunity. And, or the stop on D. And we made the stop. We got them off. We get a really dumb penalty after we had lost contained and missed a sack. You know, and so I think that's the challenging parts of it all. It's frustrating, but you know, attitude's everything. We're just trying to control our, you know. You can wake up day and figure out how you want to address the day, and we've come to work. Staff's working hard, and we had a great group of recruits this weekend. We had to do it this weekend because we're on the road the next 2 weeks with the new calendar, you know, leading up to signing day. So all that's going good. We just got to keep pressing along.
Coach, when you play as long as you have, and Coach, as long as you, I say, in the Southern Conference, you develop a lot of unique relationships. You see a lot of people come and go, but it never seems to be too far away that you're involved in a Lamb.
Yeah.
I know you've known Trey a long time. What's it like facing him? You played for, you know, Ray Lamb. Bobby Lamb was your roommate, teammate here at Furman. Coached against him, and you know, Hal and now Trey.
Yeah, you know, Bobby, that one was incredibly tough. I mean, just thinking literally, our parents still live across the street from each other, you know, and known each other since 2nd grade when I came back, you know, and we'd worked together and played together all those years growing up, you know. Yeah, so that one was incredibly tough, and that never got easier. You know, I hated when Bobby left Mercer, but I didn't miss that part at all, and that's one of the few times I've ever felt that way. You know, Trey's dad, Hal, was a year younger than us, so we same way. Great friends, grew up playing, all that stuff, and so never played against Hal. I've known Trey, obviously know Trey well, you know, but Trey never, you know, he grew up somewhere else. Never knew Trey well. You know, Trey and I talk a lot. You know, I mean, he'll I don't know, I think if maybe the old guy, he'll call and ask a question, something about the league. But, you know, obviously he is bright, you know, and he's done a really good job where he's made the most of an opportunity as a really young coach. You know, he did it at Gardner Webb, and now he's moved over. And you know, I think when you look at them, the biggest thing he's done, in my opinion, is he's used the state of college football today, you know, for how he's kind of built it in a year. And, you know, he didn't make 2 bones about it as far as the transfers go. I think he told me when they had 50-something new players last January, you know, and there's some good players in there. And then, you know, they you can tell they got good schemes. You know, they create issues for you offensively. They're playing really good on defense. They've kind of, you know, their team, you don't realize how many times they've turned it over. You know, I think they might be worse than us in turnover margin. I think he told me that, but you know, their defenses continue to come up and make big plays. That was really the story of the game Saturday against Western. So, I think the Lambs probably pull for me a lot. I don't think there'll be a lot of them pulling for me this week. That's okay. But no, and you know, Trey. It's funny. Trey's a young guy, and he. You know, every time I'm around him, he's always the same. With me, I kind of judge it on how people are. Are they the same every time you kind of see him? He's kind of that way with me. So, but yeah, he's done. I was sitting there pulling for him to beat North Dakota State, and they should have won that game earlier in the year because I just knew that'd be good for our league. But he's done a good job, and he'll certainly, you know. But our guys will be ready to go. This will be a fun one for us to go play in, and they're certainly going to get our best shot too.
Coach, when you see a program like East Tennessee State, and they had kind of this season last year for them, and they made just such a turnaround. But they were heavy on the portal. I know what kind of balance, like I know you've highlighted some areas that you might look at the portal, but how do you balance that with being also a developmental program?
I don't think you can here. I don't think that could ever happen here. just from an admission standpoint. I mean, obviously, and they've done. There's a number of people even in our league. You look around. I mean, that's college football. I don't know. And is it always going to pay off for you? Yeah, it's kind of worked for them this year. I mean, you look at even some people in our league. Has it helped them? Has it hurt them? It'd be interesting if you saw a study on that. It's who will your school admit, and for what reason, for any reason. And I mean, I think about them. They've got like, I don't know. I don't sit around and count it, but they had a ton of guys been at 3 schools. I'm not saying that couldn't happen here, but it just doesn't. I just think we're a little different in that regard. I don't think that'll happen. I do think, it's like I told you, we've been successful largely the last few years, in my opinion, because of our retention, our development program, and guys that were committed to staying here and building. Well, then, okay, we graduate 41 guys. Okay, that's going to have an effect on you. I thought we had a really good core of experienced guys. I knew we were going to be younger, and then now what I wasn't expecting is have 15 surgeries. And I think I counted about 18 guys that missed significant, or if not all of the year. And a lot of them were only a couple of those guys were young guys, so they were the old guys. So then you became that way. So I think otherwise we would have weathered it, how the season would have gone. I still felt like we should have won a few more games than we have. But I think, with the exception of probably the 2 times, and the first game obviously doesn't figure in there, been competitive. It's just can you do the things that you got to do to get over the hump, make the place, feel good about where we are. I also think that can cycle on you. I mean, like I said, I don't want to point names, but there's a number of people have done that and worked out real good for them every year. Think you can hit it right a year. Can you sustain it? I don't know. But that's just never going to work here. It's just not. I would love to be able to plug a guy here or there, and we'll still continue to do that. But even when we do it, the pool is so small, and kids have lots of options. And do you have something to truly draw them? For us, it's been. I think I've seen the number. Was it 13 grad kids last year? 100 maybe 13. We got really one that's playing for us this year. I don't think we'll have 13 again, but I think we can have a few more, and we'll try to plug in a guy. We don't have a lot of spots available based on who's returning, but that could also change too. 2 weeks from now, I don't know. I think I have a pretty good beat on it, but you don't know. So we'll just kind of deal with today, and we're planning, and we're planning to sign another high school class. It won't be a big class, but it'd be big in terms of the number of spots we have. But we are, we're not. I'm not against the other. We're gonna look into it, but it's just got to be the right fit and feel like it makes us better.
Coach, who are some of the unsung heroes that we don't see on the field each and every Saturday that are out there on your scout team, or players that you see that they got a great future coming here at Furman that people just haven't seen on the field yet this year?
I think there's a number of those kids. It's funny, some of those same names come up. And what's been interesting this year is, we've tried to use the 4-game rule. We're still to this. We've had it planned out. We're okay. This kid's got 2 more games. We got 2 games left in the regular season. We got here at the end. We had 4 games, and some of them had 3 left. And so which game? We sat Trevor Short Saturday. We didn't play him. He's got 2 more games. And I think there's a lot of cases like that. Because when you lose the number of guys we have, your scout teams get a little thin too. And we've had good numbers, but I think last week I'd look over there and there might be 1 extra scout player watching practice. And then one day there wasn't 1. There was 11 for 11. So we try to manage that. Right off, there's a lot of those guys, and a lot of them are playing. I look at a guy like Jackson Pryor, who's playing. Man, he's done some really good things. Really excited, as a true freshman. But I'd leave a bunch of guys out, because I think there's a lot of them with a really bright future. A guy like Ty Kosrud, we thought originally we might could redshirt him. Well, he's starting. and he's playing even a different position than he was practicing the first part of the year. You know, again, there's a number of those guys, and again, a lot of them, because a lot of them have played, you've seen. But there'll be some guys that'll show up next year that they didn't play down this year. You know, they're scout squad guys, and they're continuing to get better. And you know, I think we've still got a number of those guys. You've heard a few more names of some young ones just because they've had to be in the games.
Coach, when calling the game from the booth and commenting on things that we see as they happen, sometimes I feel duty-bound to ask you about it. Last couple of games, the gun snaps to the quarterback low. Some of them seem to float back there. Is that causing timing issues?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and we've addressed it, and you know, we made a little bit of a change there several weeks ago. I don't know if it was a month ago. Just to try and maybe get a little older, a little more experienced in there, and you know, we've kind of, you know, you think about the year, we've kind of played the whole year with about 6 guys that have played, because we were trying to redshirt. We were thin in that. That was a position we were thin in to start the year. We have stayed relatively healthy there. But we're able to redshirt the other guys, and you know, it's not like you're going to plug those guys in on special teams to get them some experience. But yeah, it hurt us a few snaps against the VMI showed up. It does affect timing. If you watch the first play of the game against them, we had an out over there, and ball's late getting there because it was the other stuff, you know. Showed up a few more times Saturday, more. You know, I'm not sure there's a quick fix. You know, you also could have the guy that snaps them high. We hadn't dealt with any of that. But you're right. That is something. It's another one of those attention to details, you know, that we got to continue to address. But it certainly has an effect. Not many wild ones, but just the timing aspect has been off, and it affects the pass game, and it certainly affects. I thought there were several times in some of our run game the other day where our back was a little late getting there because of that. And, you know, again, margin of error, you know, is thin there. But no, that's a good observation.
When you look at ETSU, it looks like they're pretty balanced, both rush and pass. They started a quarterback last week that his first start. In your preparation, do you have to look at that and see 2 different quarterbacks? Are there any changes, do you think, in that particular area?
Well, you know, the King kid, the original starter, who was the Gardner-Webb starter a year ago, big, athletic kid. I don't think they changed a lot. You know, it's not like they throw it with this one and run it with this one, but he's more of a true dual threat guy, big body, good athlete. I think he can do all the things they want to do in the passing game. Certainly probably not as good completion. You know, you just look at completion percentage. The other kid, I think, is a Florida State transfer, I think. And, you know, I think they look like they're more comfortable with him in the passing game. You'll have to ask them, you know. They've had a number of turnovers, you know, throughout the year. Like I said, they're one of those teams, you look at that part of it and you think, whew, the year hadn't gone too good. But I think they've really relied on their defense, been opportunistic. 2 good backs. You know, one of them's a UConn transfer. 2 good backs, really multiple, you know, in what they do, so they can stretch in a lot of ways. I think I don't know if every offensive lineman's a transfer. Maybe there's one that's not, but 2 big tackles, you know. Really solid group, you know, so they've run the ball. I still think they want to run the ball, but I do think they want to be balanced, you know, as much as they can. So I don't know, you know, and what he throw 4 picks Saturday, and they still won the game, and I think they got 4 turnovers. I think 2 15-yard drives. I think Western threw a pick from inside the 10 right before the half in the end zone. So, again, it's one of those games that could have really gone either way. You know, I think when you look at our league, and again, my opinion, Western is probably the one team who's now playing without their quarterback that really can stress you probably more than the others, just the ability of them to stretch the field and do different things and be pretty good in the run game. It's a little bit about who they are, a little bit how they're built. You look at Chattanooga, who had the other older quarterback, and that's not who they are, not who they try to be. So I think that, we've certainly, seen balls thrown down the field, and I'm sure we'll see our share thrown down the field again Saturday, and so I think, team completion percentage for them is not probably what they want, so hopefully can you get some pressure on him? Can you keep them from running it? Because I think people have had success against them have had probably more trouble. More help when they could stop the run. I think against you look at Mercer and they just abandoned the run. They didn't even try to run it. But again, they had some big time turnovers that turned into points, and that's what cost them that game. So, I'm sure there's some things he's a little frustrated about too, but they're doing a good job.
Coach, I think, when you look at the turnovers, you've created a few this year, but then it's got to be frustrating that you can't, more often than not, it seems like when you create them, you can't turn those into points. And that was something, no matter how many they had last year, they were more often than not turning them into points. Can you just talk about that aspect?
Yeah,
of it?
well, I may be wrong. I think we've got 9 and we've lost 19 because we were 1-1 Saturday. I think it was 8-18, so we were minus 10. 9's not a lot. I think we've recovered 3 fumbles. And you know this because I looked this up. We've gotten 1 turnover on the opponent's side of the field all year. And that was at William Mary, first play of the game. And what did we do? We scored a touchdown. Now I'll say this: Jalen's pick to end the Citadel game was on our end, but we didn't. We went out and took a knee, and we lost him for the year on the same play. So I'd have probably traded that off. So we haven't gotten a lot of them. We seem to be on a long field, a bunch. And when you're struggling a little bit offensively, man, 75 yards, without something happening, makes it tough. It's funny. I was watching the other day, and I think this didn't even come up. If you notice, when we fumbled the ball the other day, they pick it up, and from where I'm standing, I thought he was fixing to take it back. We had, and then I think it was. I'm trying to think who. I think Colton caused the fumble. He came and stripped the ball, and we didn't get it. I don't know if you noticed the fumble last week at VMI. Grant Robinson ran the guy down and punched it out. It went up in the air and came right back to the same guy. And again, I just said credit those 2 kids, man. They were fighting and competing, and then it just hadn't bounced our way, And we got to find more ways to get balls out. Caleb had a good pick the other day, we haven't gotten many. We turned it over too many times. I think again that was the only second fumble, but it's been we ain't got anything. I've seen people. I sit there and pick 6 and fumble return and short field. I think maybe East Tennessee's first 2 touchdowns they were both inside the 20-yard drives. We just hadn't had any of that. We gave a few of those away earlier in the year, especially. So.
You tell me all the time in pregame interviews and even in other conversations about how hard your kids continue to work. And you just cited the example of Grant Robinson chasing somebody down from behind and punching the ball out. Is that indicative of the fact that, record aside, these kids continue to work and play hard and give you the kind of effort that you want?
I agree. That's what gives you hope. I think we got some talent. Again, I see us making progress, getting better. At the end of the day, it's a win-loss game. You got to find to do those things, but we're putting ourselves in a position. I thought Carson came and gave us every opportunity the other day to win the football game. Would I like to see him make a couple throws he missed? Yeah. Would I like to see maybe a couple better decisions? But that comes with that job. But he took care of the ball. and again, which I felt like would be key in that game. I didn't think there'd be a ton of points scored. Take care of the ball, give our guys a chance. And again, we got to do some things that will certainly help our guys a little bit more so, both sides of the ball. We let some punts hit the ground. That there's a lot of hidden yardage there. That we gotta. Sometimes bad punts are good punts. Ian Williams has been phenomenal. Man, he had a great. He had the one. I know he had the one bad one, but man, you look at what he's done kicking off and punt the football and all those other things. So, no, again, just trust the process. And like I said, you wish we were older, a little bit older now, a little more experienced. I kind of see that. I see us getting a little better, and I think they're doing the right things. You won't see the results. Nobody does more than me. But I see it. I see it at practice, and you go watch the tape. Dan talked about this thing. A lot of things you see good that nobody sees. Doesn't pay off because the one guy didn't do his job. But that's, again, we got a pretty good process. I think we'll just continue to trust that.
I think that's it from the gallery here. Any final thoughts?
No, just it's funny this game. We same dayed it before, and then they set a noon kickoff, which makes it hard to do. And then, when the hurricane came, the route was closed, so we thought the route was going to be different. So, we had to we completely changed. We didn't plan to go there, and then the route's back open. We still got the noon kickoff, so it's kind of how this whole year's been. But no, y'all know me. Noon kickoffs, it doesn't get any better than that. Whether you're home or the road. So I'm excited about that. And, we got to go have a great week of prep. And again, I think we've played our best football, the last couple of weeks. Still not good enough. But if we'll stay on that trend, we just need to play our best game. We play our best game, we'll be fine. We'll do that. But it'll be a big challenge for us. They got a really good team and good players. And, We'll go give it our best shot Saturday.
Well, kickoff is at noon, as Coach Hendricks said. The game will be televised via ESPN Plus from a radio standpoint. Little breakfast and pregame 10:30 airtime for the Pepsi Countdown to kickoff from Johnson City. Hope you can join us on the Fan Upstate. We'd really like for you to make the trip, but if you can't, we'd love to have you on the radio broadcast. That will do it as far as this week's Furman Football Weekly with head coach Clay Hendricks. Thank you to everyone here. Thank you to everyone watching. Coach, thank you. For all of us at Furman, I'm Dan Scott. God bless you, and so long, everybody.